a live video to the group.
Okay.
All right, Facebook Live number 2 this week. I'm not Tom O'Gorman, but I am Andrew Rains, and this is Brian Finch. There he is. So we're here today to talk about app 8.2.0 plus, because there's been a couple of variations. Some of the changes and updates that we've made some pretty big bug fixes, and then also have improved video stabilization, OBDII connection, some other stuff that Ryan's been pretty intricately involved with, doing a lot of testing. Feeling pretty good about these updates. But first, let's talk about what events we have coming up. You want to keep an eye on questions maybe on there?
Yep, no problem. So next up for me, it's kind of a big one for the year. We have SCCA Solo Nationals happening in September, which I will be running my 2019 Civic Si sedan in G Street. So hopefully that goes well. The Chicago tour earlier this year, we did 1-2, my co-driver and I, Andrew Ramos, and looking forward to giving it our shot in the big stage.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so that's the national championship of autocross, basically.
Yep, it's the big deal. It's the jacket, if you will. That's the overall win, not just a trophy. And it's happening in Lincoln, Nebraska, at the airport where we typically have it. It was, of course, canceled last year. Really looking forward to seeing some of my friends across the U.S. I only get to see once or twice a year. So. Yeah.
So if anybody is going to be at Lincoln for the Autocross Nationals event, look for Ryan in the Apex Pro hat. He will have Apex Pro Gen 1 demo units there. We are completely sold out of Gen 2 units at the moment, so we won't have any Gen 2 units with us, but he will have some older units to demo. Bill Griffin's watching us. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hope you made it to Heartland Park. Cool. What am I doing next? I'm going to Mid-Ohio with NASA Great Lakes in a couple of weeks. So that is not this weekend, but next weekend. I'll be coaching a client there, but I'll hopefully see a lot of familiar faces and be able to chat with people in the paddock. But I won't be there for general Apex Pro support. I'm there as a coach. And then I'm going with Ryan to Grid Life for Midwest Festival. And we'll be with Bill Griffin, who's watching. Hey, Bill. And I'm actually going to drive Bill's car in GLTC. Ryan's going to drive a Honda Fit in Sunday Cup.
Yep.
Right.
Some Sunday Cup action at Gingerman. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Do a little time attack. And we will be there as Apex Pro, set up to answer your questions, help you go faster, do product demos, step into the classroom and say, hey, and do some education and some teaching. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the last event that I'll mention that we're going to do is in October. I think the second weekend of October, we're going to, at least I'm going to Brainerd International Raceway with the Audi Club Glacier Lakes group. And they're running the Donnybrook configuration, which for those of you who know Brainerd, you know that it has the fastest road course turn in North America. So it's a super high speed right-hander after a long straightaway. Some cars will do as fast as 150, 160 miles per hour through the corner. So that's pretty wicked. Hey, Walt. See you in Mid-Ohio.
One more person that we'll be seeing and also supporting that I know will be using Apex Pro over at Gingerman will be Dustin Barty, one of our newest LTP subscribers in the Black Flag Motorsports Civic Si.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you that are LTP subscribers, just keep your eyes peeled for an email tomorrow morning, because we are doing a special limited time offer for Lap Timer Plus annual subscribers. I'm not going to reveal anything about that, but you'll see an email tomorrow. And then the rest of you, other Lap Timer Plus subscribers and other folks will see what that is shortly thereafter. So that'll be a lot of fun. But we just wanted to recap some of these app updates that we've made. And yeah, there's Dustin.
There's Dustin's just joined. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah, nice work at Mid-Ohio, Dustin. It's cool seeing you and seeing the car in person again.
Mike Cooper.
Mike Cooper. So Mike Cooper is with the group Audi Club Glacier Lakes group that I just mentioned that we'll be with Brainerd at Brainerd International Raceway. So if you guys have questions or want to sign up for that event, certainly let Mike know. He's an Apex Pro dealer. He's a Spec 944 racer, incredibly good driver. And really appreciate his invitation to bring us up to Brainerd and present on Apex Pro and talk about data and help people drive and go faster. Okay, so let's talk about bug fixes. So I thought the most substantial one, and this is all your fault, I didn't have anything to do with this. I was out of town. Ryan worked with Austin, who's our CTO here. He leads the technology efforts at Apex Pro to increase or improve the stability of iPhone video while you're recording your track video. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So basically, I mean, I've used the video overlay for LTP on the track, both dry, wet, and autocross before. And we were still working on some stabilization stuff, trying to figure out. Long story short, with Austin, he was able to find out a few changes that helped improve the reliability of the video recording, also the stabilization. We've shared both in the LTP group and the general user group, kind of a torture test little video I did. Now, this was on an iPhone 12 Pro. Obviously, every iPhone device has different hardware, so it might work a little differently, just a heads up. But over the train tracks, we were able to prove that with a decent amount of speed, it was very stabilized. We're very happy with the improvements we've been able to make. And we were waiting for everyone to get out there, test it out themselves. We think everyone should be happy with what we've done so far with it. I know I definitely was impressed. So.
Yeah, I think it will improve the stabilization across all phones, but particularly if you're running the iPhone 12, it's going to be a really, really big improvement. That phone's already pretty good, but the way that phone stabilizes video is different than everything newer than the iPhone 6S. So if you're running an iPhone 7, 8, X, 11, like I have, mini, SE, your stabilization is what they call a software stabilization. We actually had a big Facebook Live about this one time, but it basically is correcting after it's being recorded. The software is like going back and correcting the image, and that's what makes it like buffer and look really weird. And so the mechanical stabilization or enhanced software stabilization like the 12 has is really required. So hopefully for those devices, for those of you running those, definitely check it out if you've unsubscribed or maybe you're a monthly subscriber for Laptimer Plus. Check that out. I was going to drop a link to the registration for this event at Brainerd because I think for those of you in the Midwest who've maybe wanted to get to Brainerd sometime because you've heard about it, I would definitely look at this event as an option. It should be a good time of year weather-wise. And if Mike Cooper is a part of it, you know it's got to be a good group of people. So Audi Club Glacier Lakes at Brainerd International Raceway. I hope to see a bunch of familiar faces. So we got big video stabilization improvements. That's awesome. For those of you, if you're watching, you probably have the Apex Pro unit itself and you're using that with the app, but maybe you have friends that go to the track that are just getting into track days or autocrossing. Maybe you have, a son or a daughter that's getting into it and, they don't have any data equipment or anything like that to measure lap times or data. You can actually use the Apex Pro app with just your phone to record lap times. So now if you open the Apex Pro app, you download it from the App Store, open it up and don't connect it to the Apex Pro device.
Either Gen 1 or Gen 2.
Gen 1 or Gen 2, it's going to automatically be set to record lap time. So if you go select the right track, hit open lap timer and hit start, your phone's going to start logging data, which is pretty cool. So it's only a 1 hertz GPS. So it's 10 times less accurate than what's in the Apex Pro unit. And you only get lap times and speed data. But we did smooth out the data a little bit so that it's a little easier to look at. The lap times they're not accurate. They're going to be way off of what a transponder lap time is going to be. I say way off. They're going to vary a lot more. Some laps, they may be right on point. Some laps, they're going to be wildly different just because the phone GPS is not designed to keep up with those types of speeds. But I wanted to just like the use case I had recently in Mid-Ohio. I was driving in Matt Williams' Honda Fit, getting some laps in Mid-Ohio, first time driving that track. And his Apex Pro had died. It was like late Sunday afternoon. It was like 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon. He hadn't charged it. The unit had died. And I was really looking forward to I was going to set a lap time. I finally learned the track. I'm like, going to set a lap time. So on the fly, real quick, I went to my settings, turned off how you use the Apex hardware logging. So when you connect to the unit, it turns on a toggle in the user settings area. So I went and turned that off and I logged data with just my phone. So I've got some of that data, which is pretty good. Chris Keller says, howdy, Apex Data Legends.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Rob.
Very highfalutin. Yeah.
Also want to
Hey,
give a
Chris.
shout out, other than you're Mid Ohio. I know I represent a friend, Jason Thompson. He did Track Night of America in Gingerman this last week or so, and he actually took his Alfa Romeo out, and he said he had another device that wasn't working so well, and he was able to download our app and use the 1 Hertz off his phone, and got the only laps he recorded at Gingerman for the day. So thank you for downloading our app, and thanks for giving it a shot and giving some information out there for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're using the Apex Pro device and the app, share that with your friends. If they're interested in maybe purchasing one in the future, they don't want to buy one yet, they can use that phone logging only. It's very limited with the feature set in the app, but it is going to get them lap times. It's going to get them a speed trace. It's going to show them some of the basics in the data, but you'll see when you do it, it's about a hundredth of the capability of adding the hardware, but it's free and it's pretty cool. OBD2. We worked on the OBD2 device.
Yeah, in the past, there was some connection reliability, I guess, that I've experienced myself using the OBD2 on my vehicle. And so we dug into this a little deeper to try to improve upon that. So we've increased the data speed and the connection reliability. And since we've done this testing, I've noticed every time it's been very clear without any issues on for example, my Honda Civic Si. Of course, every vehicle is going to communicate a little different through OBD2, but I've definitely seen a lot more consistency, which is great.
Yeah, that was a big point. Since we released OBD2, it started out being pretty reliable. And then I guess as the app was updated, we didn't spend as much time testing the OBD2 unit. So what we actually did is kind of cool. We found another app on the App Store that could connect with our OBD2 device. Because as many of you are aware, it's a white labeled unit. And the reason that we charge money for it is because we basically developed the connection protocol to communicate with it and to pull the data and then format it in the app, right? All that extra effort that goes into packaging the software, designing the UI, creating the interface for the gauges and displaying that, and then for logging and viewing that data. So we actually found another app that connected to it, and one of our engineers built a tool to kind of reverse engineer how that app connected to it, because we found it to be more reliable. So we reverse engineered the connection from another app essentially, and figured out how to increase the connection reliability. So if you have an OBD2 device, make sure you update to the latest app and then keep using it, and the reliability of the connection is going to get better. If you've been considering that, maybe you want throttle position, you want to be able to look at engine coolant temperature or something like that, hop on there. Looks like we got some questions.
Yep. Someone actually asked where we can get one of the hats. I said some of the hats will be on the website soon for purchase, as well as T-shirts, which I'm not wearing my Apex Pro T-shirt today, but they're very cool. It's the Apex, our company name, through different track designs and layouts. So it's a really cool shirt. I'm sure you've probably seen it in the past, some of our live streams and that, but.
Yeah, we have been meaning to add the hats to the website. We actually do have these hats. Actually, the logo is like offset.
This is an early prototype. It's already dirty, sorry, but yeah, it's going to be offset a little bit. But this is an early version of the hat.
Yeah, so we will have those, and we'll post those to here. Mark says, what PIDs can we see on the OBD? Mark, what car do you have? And that'll help us. What year, make, model? So the easy way to find out is to just Google like what are the required OBD2 data channels. But the basic ones, the most beneficial one that you're going to get is throttle position. Everybody with the OBD2 on their vehicle is going to have a throttle position sensor measurement, and therefore a throttle position trace in the data. So TPS is very important. It can also do things like measure engine coolant temperature, so you can see if your car's getting hot. You can see manifold absolute pressure. 2013 Veloster Turbo. So he's going to get pretty similar data to you.
Yeah.
2013, you'll get a lot of the channels on OBD2. So you'll get, I don't know if you'll get fuel level, but if you Mark, if you go into the Apex Pro app, if you're on your computer watching and you can open your app, open the Apex Pro app, tap the drive screen, and then here, let me do it while I'm talking you through it. Open the Apex Pro app, tap drive, and then tap add OBD2 device, and then tap OBD2 dashboard. And you'll see this screen with all of the channels. So you'll get RPM, vehicle speed, map, MAF airflow, throttle position, fuel level, engine coolant temperature, pedal position, whatever that says right there, intake air temperature. And then you can also check for check engine lights. You can clear codes. You can run the 0 to 60 timer. You can see your vehicle's VIN. It'll automatically figure out what car you're in. You are not guaranteed to have all of those. I don't know what the Veloster will have, but you'll definitely have throttle position. You'll definitely have coolant temperature. You probably won't have fuel level. You probably won't have pedal position, which is throttle pedal position.
It is very vehicle dependent. We actually tested for my Civic to say like a Ford Explorer we had in parking lot, and the Ford, which is an earlier 2000 mid 2000s vehicle, seemed to have more channels than my brand new Honda Civic, but I still got to have usable channels like the throttle and stuff, which I want to use anyways. One of the most important things about OBD2 are then clearing codes and checking.
Yeah. The common question is, does it do brake pressure? And the answer is no. Long G is going to be better than, so I'll put it this way. I've used other more sophisticated, like very expensive data systems with a brake pressure, manual brake pressure sensor, an analog sensor that's reporting, something. Either most of them, not everything has CAN bus brake pressure. I won't go into it, but it has an analog brake pressure sensor. Even when we have brake pressure, you still use long G to learn about braking because it's the result of your brake pressure. And it really tells you a lot more about how you influence the car. Brake pressure is kind of convoluted because it's a vehicle measure. So it's telling you the pressure of like whatever's being measured in the hydraulic system. So the pressure that's being applied through the brake lines. It's not totally related to what your foot did. It's not, basically, it's not necessary for analyzing your braking performance. Long G is what you need for analyzing your braking performance or watching your Apex Pro lights while you're in the braking zone. That's really the simplest way to do it. Cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, OBD2 is going to be a lot better. A lot of little things, a lot of small bug fixes that we found. Some were user reported. Thanks for sending in those bugs that you guys found.
The leaderboard also got improved. There was some bugs that were coming up sometimes clicking on your
preview
leaderboard. So we were able to fix that. Thanks C5 Tom. Sent that in. Got to look into the reports and we were able to correct that.
Yeah. So when you guys do, like if you run across something in the app that's obviously out of place, like we misspelled something or we you tap something and the app crashes every time, or there's something that's obviously amiss, email us at apex@apextrackcoach.com and we will do something about it.
Also, another big thing we were able to find and correct that because he actually shared with the app developer that is an option when you're going through your privacies. So if you have that checked over, the toggle saying if you like share bug reports with app developers, that's one of the ways we're going to be able to see and find these crashes.
And like your phone settings?
Yes, in your iPhone settings. So that's how we found and corrected that. I just want to let everyone know that because some people might have it for privacy reasons turned off. If that's turned on to share with the app developers, Apex Pro, we'll be able to easily correct any issues we find.
Yeah, that's good to know. So yeah, if you're reporting a app bug to us, then we'll ask you about that. The last thing I was going to mention, I'll pull it up real quick, is the new online startup guide. Thanks to Mr. Eric Meyer for all of his support and help in creating a lot of these videos and helping get this course live. But Ryan, you've taken the course. What did you think of the Apex Pro Startup Guide?
As much as I thought I knew everything too about the Apex Pro, since I've been a user since 2019 myself, there was definitely some useful information I did not know, and then some more details I found very interesting. So it's good to do. There was actually a few things, like I said, that stood out to me and thought was pretty cool. About GPS accuracy, for example, learning more about that every day.
Cool. As soon as it pulls up, I'll drop the link in here, so we'll stay live until I can do that. Let us know if you guys have questions in the comments. This is just a routine update. You'll see these things that we're talking about in the update notes when you actually look at the app on the App Store or you update the Apex Pro app. I'll drop a link to the app as well for those of you that need to go there to update it. If you open the app, it'll usually update itself automatically unless you have automatic updates turned off on your phone, which is something you configure in your iPhone usually when you first open it.
Also, anyone who's actually in here watching currently, you can just let us know, hey, what's your next event? What's going on with you?
Yeah, when are you guys going to the track? So I'm linking the online startup guide into the comments, and this is kind of the go-to. Whoa, do you see that?
Yep.
Weird. This is the weird things happen when you're on Facebook Live. You click something and like 10 minutes later, things happen. But this is kind of the go-to resource for customer service for Apex Pro. So if you're reaching out to us about something, a lot of times the way Ryan's going to respond is quick response to your question, link to the startup guide, and you can see the different chapters and stuff. But these startup guide videos are designed to kind of walk you through the app step by step. All right, that took way longer than it should have. Boom. So if you guys haven't taken a look at that, it's totally free. We will be populating that with some more courses in the future for more detailed stuff like data analysis and review and stuff like that.
Nice. Looks like Mark's going to VIR in September for his next HPDE. Very cool.
Cool. September 10th.
Aren't you going to VIR later this year?
I am. I'm going to VIR in September, actually. I don't think it's that weekend, though. I think I'm going the next weekend. I'm assuming that's not the WRL race if that's a HPDE. So
No.
I'm going the weekend after that because the 10th is when we'll be at Gingerman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gingerman for Grid Life Festival. Anyone who hasn't ever been to a Grid Life event, I definitely highly recommend it. If you've never been to a festival, it's even, you can imagine what Forza Horizon is, anyone who plays games still. It's a drifting HPDE, GLTC wheel to wheel, time attack, and concert at night, all into a few days. It's a pretty big event.
Yeah, very cool. Looking forward to it. Bill said he was an hour away from Heartland Park, by the way. So he's
awesome.
Almost to Kansas.
Speaking of Grid Life events, Heartland Park this weekend. Everyone, good luck out there.
So Mark said WRL is the following weekend. So yeah, I'm going to be at VIR for the WRL race, doing some coaching. Cool. I think that's all we got as far as updates go. That sound about right?
Yep.
Cool.
About right.
Thanks for those of you who joined us with Tom O'Gorman on Tuesday. We'll plan to have another guest on sometime soon. Maybe it'll just be one of us in like a mask or something.
Alter egos.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.